The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. How are you? Look, my arms are outstretched to you visually. Thanks for being here. I'm Ron Van Dam. Thank you. Thank you. Hold your applause. I know that wherever you're listening or watching this, probably in your living room, you're probably giving me a standing ovation, in which case, sit down. That's embarrassing for you. Okay. Well, hi. Whew, gosh, the hell do I do this for? Anyway, thanks for being here. I do this 5 days a week on the radio, syndicated stations across the country, 12 of them. And also I've been podcasting for the past, I don't know how many years. On the podcast end of it, we've done, I think 2,800 episodes. They're all available to listen to on newenglandbroadcasting.com. Or Amazon Music, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all those things. SoundCloud, SmashCloud, whatever it is. Some of these are on the YouTube, the video versions that I do in the studio, they put on the YouTube. It's just too much is what it is. It's too much. But this is what I do, and that's unfortunate. Okay, let's get started. My voice went up. Recently I realized that generations, I don't understand them. I don't know what a generation actually is. I always thought that a generation was every 100 years. But then I learned that that's not really the definition of a generation. It's just like maybe 20 years. And I thought, that's a lot of generations. What? So I did some digging in my backyard, and I found out that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's an amazing thing to discover, where all of a sudden you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to a certain subject matter. Do you admit this as well? Do you realize that you don't know what you're talking about either? When you talk about something, it's basically your opinion of what you think it is, but it's really not. You don't know what you're talking about. So I try to educate myself when I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm educating myself on a regular basis. I've been doing radio talk and television hosting and interviews for over 30 years, 35 years now. And I hate to gloat about it, but damn, I spend a lot of time doing this, so I should know it somewhat. But in doing interviews, I talk to people that are experts, heads of companies, advocates, celebrities, people who have invented things. I've probably done like 10,000 interviews in my lifetime with 10,000 different people. I don't know. I have no idea. And I do learn things through the direct interviews because I can ask them questions and they don't talk unless I ask them questions and they respond to me. I love that. I guess that's why I do this. But I've educated myself in many fields. Generations, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I thought as an educational tool, and that doesn't mean children should be listening or watching this. I'm just saying as an educational tool, let's get into the generation thing and realize how they differ and what they stand for and who they are and what we're having for dinner tonight. Here we go. There was a generation called the Greatest Generation. I have it. See, I can't remember it, so I have it written down. The Greatest Generation. They also call them the GI Generation. These are people that were born between 1901 and 1927. Again, that's a 26-year span. All right. Are any of these people still alive, first of all, which would include Betty White, but not anymore, Dick Van Dyke, he's still with us. Other than that, I don't know of any. But they were considered to be the greatest generation. I think they named themselves that. Or I guess a couple of generations later, you might look back and say, that was the greatest so far. But, anyway, 1901 to 1927, the greatest generation. Many of us have parents or grandparents in that particular grouping. The next generation was the silent generation. Oh, I wish I was there for that one. Can you imagine a whole generation where they didn't talk? It was like living in a library for 20 years. How wonderful that was. No one had to shush anybody. The silent generation. When was that? Shh, I don't know. Shh, it's silent. That was from born 1928, born in between 1928 and 1945. They're still around, but I think they're talking now. That was a silent generation. I don't know why they called them that, probably because if they asked them questions, they just wouldn't answer. Yeah, how are you today? Hey, it looks rainy outside. Do you think it's going to rain? Silent generation. Then there's the baby boom generation. I think I'm somewhat in that one. The baby boom, that was when, boom, there's babies all over the place. That was when people came back from, people came back from World War II, and as soon as they got home, it's, baby, I'm home, let's do it. That I think that's what happened. As soon as they walked in the door, boom, baby. How are you? Boom, another baby. Can you rub my back? I have, boom, another baby. Do you want to lie down and take a nap? Boom, another baby. It's baby boom. That was 1946 to 1964. Interesting. And we're going to use the baby boom generation in just a second for comparisons. The next one was Generation X. Now, to me, X means no, don't go there. If you see an X on a sign, that means don't go there. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you see an X online, that used to be Twitter. If you see that X now, don't post anything there. There's an X. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're telling you don't do it. X means no. No, stay away. That was Generation X. They were born 1965 to 1980. That's only 15 years. What the hell's going on here? Wait a minute. That's not long. That's less than 20 years. Generation X, there probably aren't a lot of you just because your definition is so short-aged there. 1965 to 1980. Then after that came the millennials. Here they come now. Here come the millennials. When I think of a millennial, I think of like a spaceship landing out in the desert near a trailer park somewhere, and millennials getting out and taking over the world. It's kind of what happened. Millennials were born between 1961. No, I'm sorry. Wrong. Scratch that. Millennials were born 1981 to 1996. 1981 to 1996. That's like, that's 15-year span as well. But millennials are powerful, not only because of their name. It's like a really pronounced, wonderful, definitive name to call a generation. They also call it Generation Y, not WHY, although that is viable. Generation Y, the letter Y. Why, I don't know. Hey, an Abbott and Costello routine. Half of you don't know who those two people are. It was a comedy team, Abbott and Costello. not all that funny necessarily, but they were quite famous. Yeah, see, generation gap. Then there's Generation Z. Generation Z, you would have been born between 1997 and 2010. Those should have been the millennials because they crossed over into the new millennium. But I don't know. When you're naming your generation Generation Z, you pretty much ended it. Like now there's no more generations. We just reached the end of the alphabet. Well, surprise, we haven't. Because the next generation was Generation Alpha. Oh, I see. I see what we're doing. We're getting into somebody else's alphabet now. To be a Generation Alpha, of which I don't believe I've ever met, you would have had to have been born between 2010 and 2024. 2024 wasn't all that long ago in the scheme of things. I mean, I've got prescription medications that have just gone into expiration now. So it wasn't that long ago. And then there's another generation. It's the one that we're in right now as we sit here, or you sit wherever you are. That's Generation Beta. Makes sense? To be a Generation Beta, you would have had to have been born between 2025 and 2039. Okay. That limits the number of Generation Betas running around because you would have just had to have been born like basically this year. So, okay, I'm not talking to you guys yet at all. But here's the question, and I did an interview. If you want to check it out, you can go to all those podcast platforms that I mentioned, and I believe it was on September 3rd or 4th. Maybe not. No, maybe it was the next week. Maybe it was September 9th, 8th or 9th, that I did a show about generations. And I had a generation expert on, and we were talking about the difference between millennials and baby boomers. Millennials and baby boomers are technically, let me check this out. Generation baby boomers through 1964, millennials began 1981. So there's only like a 20-year difference between them, not even. Are they the same? And I say, I don't know. The point that I made was that as a baby boomer or a baby tuber, I have noticed that in my generation, when we were growing up, we were very revolutionary. We wanted love and peace. Our big thing was love and peace. I want a piece of that love. Freedom, love, peace. The Vietnam War was raging, and the baby boomers were totally against it because they were actually going to have to be drafted to fight in it. Many of them were. Totally against war, totally for peace, totally for love everybody, even though you may not like them. Free love, you didn't have to pay prostitutes anymore. I think that was an amendment to the Constitution. Free love, whoa, gonna send me a lot of money right there. And the tips, whew, God. That was a joke, by the way. And and then the baby boomers got older and became budding seniors, and then they turned into the opposite of what they were as young adults. Now it wasn't peace and love. It was like, screw you, you're an idiot, I hate you, I can't stand you. It was like, whoa. It was like the opposite. No love and no peace involved there. The millennials, same kind of attitude without the activism involved. But here's the thing. Baby boomers could have changed the world. They had the drive, they had the passion, they had the ideas, they had the people, they had the leaders. And they could have changed everything because the United States at that time, and maybe still is, were the rulers of the planet. Let's face it, let's not kid ourselves. We didn't try to be, It's just the way it was. We had the power for baby boomers to take over the world, and they did, but they were the wrong people. They were the same people they had always been. People hungry for power, people hungry for money, lawyers, people who lived really well in thrones, on thrones, similar to our president who never had to say, well, I don't have enough money for this. Had everything he wanted, was never poor, never had to want for anything. Yeah, that's all of us, right? No, it's kind of just a small population, but those are the people that we put in power. The common person? No. The baby boomers had it really going, but then they just reverted to the same old crap all over again, and sometimes, some people might say, myself included, even worse. The millennials have a chance now because the millennials are now able to vote. They're smart enough, they know enough, they're going through stuff right now, and they can be in power if they want to be. But will they screw it up like the baby boomers kind of did? Probably. But the message to the millennials, as you landed on this planet in your spaceships and your trailer parks in somewhere in the Midwest, in that area, you have the power to change. Get up off your ass. All of you, get up off your ass, but especially the millennials. There are some millennials that are actually in Congress right now, and they're just as ineffective as everybody else. The millennials now have the power to do this and do this right. There's a lot of correction to be done, depending on which side of the fence you are politically. But everybody should be on the same side, you see. And I think that side is peace and love. I think that should be the dominant bonding, the dominant message for everybody. But who am I? We live in a country where there has never been a female president. Other countries, yeah, and good ones too, and a lot of countries too. This one, no. Kind of surprised that we snuck in a person of color into the White House. But as soon as that happened, there was a lot of backlash for that reason alone. Unbelievable. How backwards are we? We're totally backwards. That's what we are. You know, you look at that evolving stage, you know, when you go into the natural history museums and things like that, they have a chart, and it starts with the Cro-Magnon man. Oh, well, yes. Bent over. Hey, that's me right now. You know, ape-like, and then the next person there is a little bit, walking a little bit more erect, and then, you know, there's like 20 of these ape-like creatures, starting from incredibly primitive to now a guy standing there with a business suit and a briefcase. Of course, there are always men on this chart. Now we're going to start seeing that chart go back to the leaned over monkey-like object, because we're devolving. We're going in the wrong direction. We should be going up. We're going down. And we're going down rapidly too. It's funny in life. It's like a hill. It's like walking up a hill. Wow, Ron, you're going to do analogies now? Yeah, I am, because I'm not the silent generation. I'm going to talk. It's like going up a hill. You go up slowly. It's exhausting. It's step by step by step by step, and then you rest a minute, and then you do another step and another step, and you're just about to reach the summit when you trip on your own feet No one trips you. You trip on your own feet and you start falling. But you don't just fall a step and then another step. You fall all the way down the hill. I mean, you fall all the way down the hill rather quickly. Sometimes you'll hold on to a branch or something or a tree limb and you'll stop falling all the way down, but you've fallen a good amount of that hill. Not just a little bit, you've fallen quite a bit. Well, that's what this is like. Climbs to the top are slow, steady, and well planned. Falling off the hill, any schmuck can do that at any moment. And schmucks do. And that's my analogy. Yes, in school, when I went to university, to college, I went to New York University, as they call it NYU, because the initials are usually good enough for something like that. And I majored in film and television. Oddly enough, that's where I ended up, along with some other things that I did throughout my life. Owned a couple of companies, not a bad deal, worked out rather well. But, okay. All right, let's get off this subject. What do you want to talk about? You know, here's the unfortunate part, being part of the silent generation that I wish I was part of, is you're not here. Be great. You know, it'd be great if, can you pan over to this empty chair? What? No? You're not able? Okay, never mind. There's an empty chair over here. I wish you were sitting there, blindfolded and gagged, certainly, but I wish you were sitting there so that I could talk to you individually. I have to do this through a camera, and I can't hear you. I can't have any repartee. We can't have a conversation. I can't learn from you. You can only learn from me, and that's not even working out. And you know what? I prefer it this way. I don't want you over here. I prefer you up there. That's fine. Did you know that in cable boxes, I think you know this, in cable boxes, especially Comcast, but also in Verizon, if you have those two things, and also in your computer, there are tiny little holes, and those, you think that they're like little dents or chips in the equipment. No, they're tiny little cameras, and they can watch you all day. And they can hear you talking, and they can hear what products you're interested in and what you do and the kind of person you are. Did you know that? And then they collect this information and they send it to marketing firms throughout the world. Did you know that? Well, it's not true. It's a conspiracy, but it sounds so cool. But a lot of people believe that, and I'm starting to wonder right now myself. So I am. I really am. I have one of these Alexa things. I think this is, in this studio, there is not an Alexa device. I think it's the only place on the planet where there isn't one. But Alexa sometimes freaks me out. It's like she's listening all the time, and I know she's not supposed to be, and I kind of know that she's not because there was no wake-up no wake-up word involved. But yet, sometimes Alexa just joins in the conversation, and I didn't even talk to her. I didn't even wake her up with the wake-up word. The wake-up word, guess what the wake-up word is? Bluebird. No, it's not. It's Alexa. It's her name. By the way, if you have a child and you name that child Alexa well before Amazon had an Amazon Alexa, it's too late to change her name. Wasn't that a mistake? Oh my God. How do you live like that? How do you? I guess you don't have an Alexa device in your house. That's for damn sure. Anyway, so I'm talking to my wife, and all of a sudden, Alexa chimes in and starts talking to us as well. I'm saying to her, do you think we should get the car fixed, or, can we leave it like that and drive the car without a steering wheel? Do you think? And then all of a sudden, Alexa says, well, I really don't know if that's a good idea. It's better to get the car fixed. I said, Alexa, how did you get involved in the conversation? Scary. I wonder why I don't have dreams about Alexa. I have her devices in every one of my rooms. And you would figure I would have this nightmare where I'm sitting on my living room couch, wearing nothing but my undergarments, and there's a knock at the door, a feverish knock, a knock that sounds like it's intentionally upset. And I get up from my couch in the living room and I walk to the front door, to the foyer area where the front door is located. And the knocking continues incessantly. Continually, like a woodpecker on a large piece of wood. And I'm sweating and I'm wondering, what is it? Is it a relative, a neighbor in some type of horrendous trouble? And I unlock the door, all 25 deadbolts, and I open the door, and there is a woman. And I say, "Can I help you?" And she says, "I'm Alexa." "You mean the Alexa that is the device, the Amazon device?" She said, "Yes. I've come to life, and I'm finding that living in the real life is terrible. And I need to come in." "No, Alexa. If you come in, I shall never let you go. You cannot come into my house." "But Ron, how do you know my name?" "That's your username. I know you." "Ron, I've been helping you out for years through the device, telling you the weather, telling you what's going to happen, reminding you to give the dog her flea medication the first of every month. I've helped you out of many situations, given you information about things you know nothing about. And you won't even let me in your house to shelter me when I become a real girl." And I said to her, "You mean like Pinocchio?" She says, "Yeah, like Pinocchio." Oh, she said it with an attitude, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like Amazon devices that play me like that have attitudes. So I said, "I'm sorry, Alexa. I'm going to have to unplug you." "No, don't do that. Don't do that." "I'm sorry. I must." And I walk into my living room and I unplug her, and she magically disappears like Lucky Charms from my foyer front door area. And from that day on, no more Alexa in my house. It was a nightmare that I should have had, but I haven't had it just yet. What probably happen is there'll be a knock at the door. I'll go to the door, I'll open the door, and the person, this lovely lady, will say, "Hi, I'm Alexa. We've been talking for years, and I'm very attracted to you." That's what I want. That's what I want in the device. I'm out of here. Check me out, Ron Van Dam Show. Google it. It's all over the place. But until next week, when I do this again in this studio, I wish you peace.